Imagine attempting to find a single, straightforward solution for the majority of your adult life. Who is your dad? Just the truth, not for attention, not for wealth, nor for influence. Ramir Carter has been doing that for more than 10 years. Jay-Z, one of the wealthiest and most influential people in hip-hop, is the guy at the heart of this search. This is real life, even though it sounds like a Netflix drama. The story of Ramir begins when he was a child and was brought up by Wanda, a single mother. Early on, she informed him that the man rearing him wasn't his biological father. According to her, Sean Carter was his biological father. That is Jay-Z prior to his notoriety. Wanda claims that she was just a youngster in Philadelphia in the early 1990s when she first met Jay-Z. He was in his 20s and rising in the music industry. She claims that everything started when he brought her to his aunt's Brooklyn apartment. Years later, Ramir has been determined to establish the truth ever since. Even as she died, his mother continued to fight for him. Legal paperwork, a declaration she signed, and the man's DNA exclusions that were initially on his birth certificate. All signs continue to point to Jay-Z. However, Ramir's attempts to involve the courts are always met with a roadblock. Delays, jurisdictional justifications, legal technicalities, you name it, it's occurred. It gets considerably messier from here. Ramir has been called everything from a liar to a cloud chaser, even though he spent his own money seeking justice, and was refused a DNA test by J-Z. However, it doesn't sound like he's attempting to make money when you hear him talk. Someone seems exhausted. I'm sick of being ignored, of the judgment, and of the quiet. Let's get 50 Cent in now. 50 Cent isn't going to miss this one, of course. He has been known to expose industry duplicity, and it is currently said that he is supporting Ramir. Furthermore, it has been reported that 50 intends to include Ramir in a forthcoming documentary that would thoroughly expose the situation. This isn't just a personal family matter anymore. It's turning into a full-fledged media frenzy. Jay-Z was just ordered by a judge to reply to the complaint by July 18th. Just one decision is monumental. The court system held this matter in limbo for more than 10 years, but it is now at last progressing. That change is significant not only for Ramir but also for the implications it has for authority, notoriety, and responsibility. Among the most outrageous is the rumor that Jay-Z's group allegedly attempted a peaceful resolution. Before the tone changed, they allegedly offered to help Rhee's music career and land him a spot on a label. All of a sudden, everything was shut down as new attorneys took over. No responses, no aid, no communication. And the games being played are not limited to lawful ones. This individual has been socially dragged. Online users ridicule him, accuse him of having hallucinations, and claim he is only after money. But if you listen closely, you'll notice that his voice has a different tone. He's not bitter. He's not yelling. The truth is all that he desires. This is the turning point, because there is frequently a paper trail behind every well-known celebrity falsehood. Additionally, this one contains sworn affidavits, property records, DNA exclusions, and signatures. Jay-Z has yet to take the exam too. Not once, not even to turn everything off. Why not? Why don't you just prove that this child isn't truly yours? Everyone is asking that question right now. Before Rockefeller was even a household name in the early 1990s, Jay-Z was just another driven rapper making his way through Brooklyn and Philadelphia. As Wanda says, that's when they happened to cross paths. She was just trying to make sense of her life as a sensitive teenager. She was picked up from Philadelphia and transported across state borders to New York by Jay-Z, who was already in his 20s. Just that information has caused a great deal of indignation. In Pennsylvania, the legal age of consent was 17 at the time and remains so now. That chronology is accurate if she became pregnant at the age of 15 and delivered birth at the age of 16. Furthermore, if verified, it presents significant issues that extend beyond paternity. After Rhee was born, Wanda continued to try to get in touch with Jay-Z, but there was quiet in response to her. Years later, a DNA test revealed that Robert Graves, her then-boyfriend, was not the father, despite her listing him as such. Everything changed for Rhyme at that point. He brought his first paternity lawsuit in court in 2010. However, he soon discovered that facing a billionaire would not be simple. Jay-Z's legal team contended that since he didn't reside in New Jersey, he couldn't be made to undergo a paternity test there. Rymer's side, however, retorted that it provided proof that Jay-Z held real estate in the state. Nothing changed, though. The judges were switched. Paperwork vanished inexplicably. Courts asserted technical mistakes. The system itself didn't seem to want this case to proceed. Rimmer's annoyance only increased. He no longer fought only for clarity. He was battling what he perceived as outright legal system collaboration and fraud. Lily Coley, his godmother, became one of his most steadfast supporters. She has openly stated that not only was Wanda underage, but that Jay-Z's staff was aware of this and made an effort to cover it up. Rumors circulated about possible partnerships, music opportunities, label access, and even money. However, the tone shifted the instant Rhyme spoke up. All of a sudden, it seemed as though the industry had united to defend one of its biggest stars. Not to mention the emotional toll. Ree has more than just a legal mess to contend with. His life has been molded by confusion, public humiliation, and desertion. "I don't want money," he says. He is not interested in retribution. All he wants to know is his origin. His mother is no longer with him. She simply left him with Sean Carter as a name, and the conviction that he should be aware of the truth. The situation has gotten worse due to Jay-Z's silence. It's difficult to comprehend the reluctance to participate for a man whose brand has been established on Black achievement, family, and legacy. Why have you allowed this story to consume you for more than 10 years? Why not put an end to it once and for all with a test? Unless the test, of course, proves everything. Public sentiment is beginning to change there. People are increasingly perplexed as to why someone with nothing to conceal would spend 10 years dodging a single, easy test, particularly in light of the current already in use whispers and Diddy are beginning to make connections between topics that haven't yet been aired in public. Hip-hop is experiencing a storm, and some of its most well-known artists are facing criticism. 50 Cent is out there stoking the fires despite everything. He's never been one to hold back. He is reportedly incorporating rhyme into his documentary production at this time. He's not letting this story die, regardless of whether it's petty, personal, or just 50 being 50. The energy has changed just because he's giving rhyme a platform. The due date has been established. Jay-Z can reply to the court until July 18th. Time is running out. Removing a music icon was never Rhymer Carter's goal. It was about taking back identity, which is something that most people take for granted. He didn't ask to be associated with one of the most influential hip-hop men when he was growing up. He didn't follow the spotlight or the press. All he wanted was an answer. He has spent over half of his life trying to get a man to just acknowledge him, and yet here he is at the age of 32. His voice carries genuine suffering. He's not trying to start a fight or yelling into a microphone. For someone whose name has been tarnished for more than 10 years, he is quiet, grounded, and oddly composed. He speaks reverently of his mother. One day she sat him down, introduced him by his given name, and declared, "This is your father." She didn't simply say it once and move on. Over the years, she said it often until it became ingrained in his memory. What stayed with him was that constancy. He was persuaded that she was telling the truth by that. And she's gone now. She passed away before receiving the resolution she had worked for. Those who didn't want this narrative to come to light continued to call her a liar until her death. However, Rhymer refuses to allow denial to bury her recollection. For him, this battle is a way to fulfill her final desire. No matter how long it takes, exposing the truth. The case's specifics are terrifying. When Wanda became pregnant, she was reportedly just 15 years old. A man in his 20s is said to have transported her over state boundaries. That alone raises moral and legal issues that go, well, beyond paternity. However, the system skirted those queries rather than providing answers. Courts said they were powerless, judges came and went, and documents were misplaced or misfiled. With the help of formidable attorneys, Jay-Z's team resisted at every opportunity. Furthermore, everything feels more precarious now that hip-hop royalty is receiving more attention, is being investigated, and individuals are beginning to re-examine every whisper, rumor, and cover-up that the industry previously suppressed. Long regarded as a cultural leader and strategic genius, Jay-Z is currently being seen in a different light. A man who might spend millions of dollars to stay away from a cotton asterisk. Swab. What hurts most is the stillness. Ree finds it incomprehensible that a man who talks about family wealth and heritage would be so reluctant to communicate with his supposed firstborn. He often stated that he had no desire for money. All he wants is the truth. He's not asking for a piece of the empire or a place at the Rock Nation table. All he wants to know is his origins and the reasons for someone's extreme efforts to eradicate him. Jay-Z is allegedly attempting to impose a gag order on Ryder and is suing him for defamation. If accurate, that action seems like an effort to put the story out of the public eye forever. However, it's too late to remain silent. The internet is able to remember. The pressure from the public is increasing, and this time, lawyers working behind the scenes are not in charge of the story. Ree just wants Jay-Z to submit to a DNA test. The story is over if it turns out that he is not the father. But everything changes if it turns out that he is. Not only for Remier, but also for Jay-Z, his loved ones, and his meticulously crafted legacy. In any case, the secret lies in that exam. The entire globe is also waiting to see if Sean Carter will finally come clean as July 18th draws near.